Now, say my name.
The Rolling Bad Podcast.
You're goddamn right.
Welcome to the Rolling Bad Podcast, episode number 55, coming to you from the desolate wastelands of Albuquerque, New Mexico. We're recording on October 13th, and I am your host, Elric Edge, and with me is...
Bill Costello.
What are we going to talk about tonight, Bill?
All kinds of things, actually. First of all, apologize for the delay on this show. We had a whole bunch of life happened, and we weren't able to get together last weekend.
Stupid life.
Yeah. It's no fun. And as it is, we're down a man because Ryan wasn't able to make it. He was supposed to come down here, but his plane was late, and he didn't even get into Durango until an hour ago. So
something like that.
Not like he's going to drive down here and be here for this.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about the new Dawn stuff. It is October.
It is.
For which we have seen almost...
Nothing
but teasers.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah. Well, I think the 20th was their idea of that was always rumored to be the drop date.
Oh, okay. So you call it a whole month of orc releases, but then don't do any orc releases.
Yeah, all they've been doing is like regimental standards and, just weird offshoot stuff. Hey, what's this picture? Oh, it's one of these. Okay, yeah, sure. Give us that damn book.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But again, I think they're also trying to stretch it through into the season and all that stuff. So I don't know. But there's a whole bunch of stuff in New Dawn. So we have a little bit of stuff to talk about in creation. We were going to have stuff to talk about in battle, but neither one of us was able to make the event today.
Right.
Which is unfortunate. I guess it just wrapped up a little bit ago. So we'll bring you what we can. But then in the lore section, we're going to talk about two very, very underwhelming realms. Underdeveloped, yes.
We're getting there with
it. There. We're going to talk about Hish, which is the realm of light, which has about, 75 words total in print.
It exists.
Yeah. And here's some artifacts. Yay.
Yeah.
And also Olgo, the realm of shadows, which with the, what's his name?
Daughters of Cain book. We got a
little love.
And then with Malarian. No, wait. Yeah. Malarian.
Yeah, but it's still relatively it's not developed like, Hish or Shyish. So we're going to wrap two of them into one episode because it'll be really the majority of what we're going to talk about is the spells and the artifacts and what have you. So, and then we'll wrap it up until next time.
The Realm of the New Dawn, where we're going to talk about the releases that GW has pumped out this last few weeks.
Yeah, really.
So the biggest one we kind of alluded to is Orktober. We are smack dab in the middle of good old orc release, I guess.
Yeah, it's the stuff.
Absolutely nothing has dropped for them.
Can't keep up with buying it all.
Yeah. I've just been told that there's stuff coming. And so far it just looks like the Speed Freak box.
Yeah, it's
and
really...
you can build a whole bunch of combinations. I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
They're fantastic looking models, but not going to lie, I was kind of expecting more.
I kind of thought it would be the first weekend and that the White Dwarf would be crammed full of orc stuff.
And the book would be out. And
yeah. I opened up the October White Dwarf and I was like, I can't wait. There's nothing in it. There's literally nothing in the new section of White Dwarf.
Yeah.
To even make you think it might be October.
Weird.
So.
But yeah, I mean, the new car kits.
Yeah.
Buggies or whatever. Look
and
fantastic.
They all look, oh my God.
They do look good.
Yes, they do.
Moving on.
Yeah. It's sad. I'm hoping when we get together next time, we'll be able to go, oh my God, it's so cool.
Yeah.
But
I'm not holding my breath.
And the thing is they've done this before where they've called it something, this is going to be the month of blah.
Right.
And then you don't see anything until, the month is 2/3 over.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess it's just the way their production cycle works.
Maybe.
I don't know. They have their reasons.
January, we got an absolute crap ton of Tzeentch stuff all month long.
Right.
So, oh well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I'm sure they know what they're doing. I tend to believe them.
Well, the internet would disagree with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've come to the the conclusion that the people who believe that Age of Sigmar does not sell well and that Warhammer Fantasy was really what was keeping them alive are basically the flat earthers of tabletop gaming.
I love it.
That's where I'm at now. Every time I read those dumb comments online, I'm just like, all right.
I saw something the other day that Kings of War is releasing a free rule set for their skirmish version of the game of Kings of War, and I'm like, oh my god, that is so cool. Why didn't anyone else think of that?
Right.
That is awesome.
You have another game to play with all your GW minis like they do?
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Enough bad. So, we have the new Warhammer Underworld's Night Vault releases. So, if we didn't get to cover it, but of course Night Vault burst onto the scene, and I have been playing the heck out of that game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So how much did it change? Because it looks like there's all kinds of new terrain features and magic and stuff now. Is that a thing?
Magic is in the game. I mean, that's the biggest change, is that there is magic in the game. And as far as the base rules go, there's hardly any change at all.
Okay.
There's a couple clarified wordings and better wordings for some things. And it's stuff that was put out in facts along the way, and, things that we kind of knew already. There's nothing groundbreaking other than they added magic to the mix. Mm-hmm. So now when you have your power deck, you not only have upgrades, ploys, but you also have spells you can cast in there. And you also have some characters that have actual spell attacks that they can use. So
how lethal is magic?
It's not overbalancing.
Okay.
I have not seen it have a crazy effect on the game yet. And I've played with some things to upgrade magic to, try to get it up to 11. And really, it's not, you're still doing a set amount of damage, whether you get a success, if you get a success. So It's not like it's, the spellcaster just wins against the normal guy. Yeah. The only thing that you have is great range. The spells usually have a range of 3 or so. They have a new scatter mechanic in the game, which is really a lot of fun to play with.
Oh, okay.
Because what you do is you have this scatter tile that you put out there, and it has a symbol of each of the dice. Then you roll X amount of dice, depending on what you got, a scatter 1 or a 2 or a 3. You then put the dice where you want them. You draw the scatter chain yourself. It's not like dictated to you.
Okay.
So you can actually work it a little bit to have the effect you want. And it's really neat, but I haven't found it unbalancing yet. They added lethal terrain, which are red bordered hexes that if you get pushed into or move through on your own, you take a damage.
Interesting.
But that's the end of it. You don't take damage for standing in it. You don't take damage for leaving. So it makes for an interesting thing when you play the Night Haunt army, because being ethereal, they don't care about lethal. They don't care about occupied hexes. They just move anywhere they want.
Nice.
The only thing you can't do is end up in an impassable square or in an enemy square, a hex. So using them is tricky. They're not easy because they're just like most dead. They're very fragile.
Interesting.
So yeah, but the two that are out there are very. That's all I've played is games with those, the Stormcast and the Night Haunt, and they've been a lot of fun to play with, both sides. And I've gotten, you can't screw around even with the Stormcast because they're big and they're tough. But if you lose one of them, it's hard. It's really hard because you still have to control objectives and you still have to go out and do things.
Yeah.
So, but then today, the two new factions hit, which are the Eyes of the Nine, which is the Tzeentch War band.
Right.
Which I think this is going to be the stress test for magic. They are nothing but magic.
Yeah.
And they also have a blue horror mechanic in there that's pretty nasty.
Cool.
So, yeah, it takes a lot to kill one of them because you have to kill it.
And then kill it. And then kill it.
And then kill it. Nice. And the way killing works in this game, it's not easy.
Yeah.
But you still have to devote somebody to hitting them. And when you only have 12 actions in a game, it can be a bear. And then you have Zarbag's Gits, which is the first group of 9 models. So, yeah, I thought that.
Yeah, the Undead only had 7.
The Undead had 7. Yeah, these guys have 9. So they're going to be interesting to play with. So, and I'm gonna rant a little bit. And GW, I want you to listen to me now.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Hear me now. Believe me later.
Okay.
Okay, when you release a playmat that is super cool, and it's made out of that neoprene mouse material.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Don't fold it and put it in a box.
Uh-oh.
Roll it and put it in a tube like every other company in the world that releases playmats.
What happened?
They're in tubes. Well, when you get the Night Vault playmat, which is a really nice little thing, it's got a spot for your deck and your discards and your activation tokens and, all your different cards and what have you. It's just kind of nice to have. It's not by any means required. But it comes in a box the size of a warband box. So it's all folded up into that.
Boy.
And it's permanently creased. I mean, I have done all kinds of things to get the creases out of it. And yeah, it still has signs of the old creases. And I've had it rolled up for now like a week. I have not used them so that I could leave them rolled up, and I'm going to hope that they'll flatten out.
You can't iron them?
No, I tried. You have to be real careful because it's a rubber mat.
Right,
So you can't go real high heat, so that means you can't do steam. Yeah, it's,
What about a blow dryer?
I've tried a couple of different things. The wife tried a few things.
Put it in
I don't
the
know
oven?
if she did the blow dryer. Yeah, I could put it in the oven. That'll flatten it right out.
Microwave, maybe?
So, yeah.
Stick it on top of a campfire?
Yeah, that'll work. But seriously, don't fold them up and put them in a box.
Yeah.
Take a look at every Magic the Gathering playmat offering ever. They're in flipping tubes.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So it's still, Shadespire is still a lot of fun. This new set has really reinvigorated my play in it.
Warhammer Underworld? Not Shadespire?
Yeah, it's Warhammer Underworlds. Did I say Shadespire?
Yeah, you said Shadespire.
I'm sorry, GW. I'm sorry. My rant was over. I didn't mean it.
Cheap shot, Bill.
Cheap shot. So, yeah, that was that's the new Night Vault stuff. I highly recommend it. If you haven't tried it yet, it really is a lot of fun. It's just pure fun.
Cool.
Enjoy it. In the 40K world, we had for Adeptus Titanicus, which is actually Horus Heresy world.
Yeah.
We had the Warhound Scout Titans come out today with all the trimmings. So that means their cards and their things and doohickeys. So
those Titans just don't do it for me anymore.
Really?
Yeah, ever since the Night Titans and all that stuff came out.
Yeah.
They just look so much better than
that's true.
Those older
Titans.
I
I still love them. I still love those.
they're cool, but I'd rather have a Night Titan any day.
Yeah, they are much, much cooler.
Yeah.
So
when are you going to build them so I can see them built?
Yes.
Okay.
I actually built all of my Titanicus terrain and base coated it, and I built like 6 of the little tiny Titans. I have to move up to the
I want to see that
Questoris
Warlord.
Titans. Huh?
I want to see the Warlord.
Yeah, I know. That's what I have to build next. So I'm dying to do it. I've been watching some guys' different videos that have been doing them.
Sub-assemblies? Or?
Oh, yeah, you got to do it. The armor is just so...
Yeah, it looks pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. And some of the ones I've seen are over the top.
Yeah.
For Kill Team, there's just been different Kill Teams come out. I think the Necron and... What was it? Tau or something came out.
Today?
No, that was last week.
Oh, okay.
That was last week. And
I was going to say today was the Commanders thing.
Yeah, Commanders was announced today as well as all the different Commander boxes. So that's going to add leaders to your kill teams, which I think is going to be really interesting. I pre-ordered the Necron and the Orc just for giggles.
Nice.
But one thing that I thought was kind of interesting, it occurred to me, all these kill team boxes that have been coming out with these smatterings of terrain in them.
Okay.
And it didn't dawn on me until this week's release, where they had the Wall of Martyrs set, or part of a Wall of Martyrs set in each one of the boxes. They're trying to get rid of all those old sprues.
You think so?
Well, yeah. I don't think Wall of Martyrs went over all that huge when it came out.
I think, it was really expensive and it was very Imperial-centric.
Yes.
And I think it came out at a time where people were tired of seeing Imperial terrain.
Yeah.
And they really were starting to ask for
something.
Xenos stuff.
Yeah.
And then that Tau Tidewall thing came out and that sold
and that went crazy.
Yeah.
So I honestly think they're just they're throwing some of this stuff into the kill team boxes, I think, to get rid of some of the older terrain sprues that they have lying around.
Yeah.
Because they're not really themey with, like the Orcs got, the galvanic servo hauler in their kit.
Yeah.
Because the Orcs are known for, doing manual labor for the Imperium. So, yeah. No.
Yeah.
No.
It's just all adding flavor to a table.
And there's the thing is they're pushing terrain out to people that, you're seeing it as a gift almost because it doesn't really count the cost of the box. So you're like, okay, yeah, I'll build that up. Hey, this is really cool stuff. And then you get hooked on so I definitely see it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, they might just be clearing out the warehouses too. So it doesn't hurt on any level.
True. That is true.
So I like it. It's a good thing.
Well, hopefully we get more Xenos terrain.
Yeah. So really in the Age of Sigmar area, haven't seen really.
Yeah, we just got the Beast of Chaos.
Yeah.
I have not looked at that book. I haven't
seen any new releases. It's an amazing book.
Is it?
I mean,
Do you have it?
I don't have it. I have it, on the digital. I didn't get it in print.
Fair enough.
Some of the combos in there look really cool. Talking to some of the Beast players in the different WhatsApp chats, and they're all pretty jazzed about it. And, nobody's saying that, oh yeah, this is dominating. This is top table. But they're all like, no, it's gonna. There's some lists in here that are gonna work and do work.
That's good.
So,
that's good. That's always good to hear.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much for Age of Sigmar, and I don't foresee us getting anything.
Not any big release.
Well, we're in October, apparently. November tends to be Lord of the Rings, and then December is nothing generally. So it might be January till we get.
We might not see anything until the new demons hit.
Probably Slaanesh.
Yeah. Yep.
It'll be in January, would be my guess.
Yeah.
So
in the Black Library, did I say library?
Maybe.
Library.
Right up there with strawberries.
Strawberries.
Anyways.
Out on the shelves today, they have the 40K Plague War book, which I think is really cool. I got to pick it up. I got to get over there to the shop and get it. Finally, the Gore-Tex and Felix Omnibus #1 is out in paperback.
Yeah.
So it's a big, big paperback. That looks really cool. Of course, Beast Arises #1 came out in paperback.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of people very happy.
Yep.
So, Shattered Legions came out in paperback. I thought Korax was coming out for order today, but it's not. That limited edition Korax book isn't coming out till pre-orders on the 20th.
Okay.
So yeah, that's about it for Black Library, I think. The made-to-orders that they had out last week are now over. And they were some really cool made-to-orders. They had Throg. Some of the other larger type. Beasties.
Galrock.
Yeah, Galrock.
The two-headed Chaos Dragon. Mm-hmm. That's a classic old model.
Yeah. I'm really glad they're doing those made-to-order things because it gives people hope that, an old favorite model will come back. Even if it is for a week. Hey.
Yeah.
I did mine with the two. I got Oxyotl and Tinahurihunan for the Seraphon.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm not going to run them as those guys. Oxyotl is just going to be a cool-looking chameleon skank because his rules are terrible.
Yeah.
But, it's nice to have that in your hip pocket, as it were. So
the Black Library book that you missed was Vulcan.
Oh, Vulcan.
Series,
that's right. That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, I knew that bug, yeah.
Yep. I knew I was missing something. Anything else that we need to talk about that's new coming down the pike?
I don't think so. I certainly haven't heard of anything.
I think they're still just hyping Battlefleet Gothic 2, the computer game.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Yeah, but that's still in the distant future.
Oh, speaking, have you played Realm War? Did you play that at all?
Realm War.
The AOS mobile game?
No.
Yeah, they kind of lost me when Lord Celestin can summon a Bloodthirster.
Yeah, that's when you told me that. I was like, I'm not spending anything on that.
I played it maybe a week.
Really?
And I was just like, no, this is not, not for me.
That's a shame. I was kind of hoping the first AOS would be a little bit more cool.
Yeah.
I did see that AOS Champions is announcing the next set.
Oh, really?
I forgot what they called it, but I saw something on Facebook today.
Cool.
About a new, the next set. And they're doing, at least for the online game, which I think is very interesting, they're making changes to some of the way the cards play in the online game. Obviously, they can't, they might errata the cards. I don't know. But at least for the online game, they're changing like how Gordrak works and a few other cards that have been, just, I don't want to say abused because you can't really abuse it when it's there. You're completely playing in their environment.
Yeah.
But there's some things, unintended consequences that they found. And, most people that are playing competitively are playing just destruction decks with Gordrak. And because, you can pretty much one shot, one kill. So
Yeah, well, that's fine. It's core drag.
Yeah, core drag.
You know.
But yeah, it makes for a lousy game.
Well, that's what you get for playing against orcs. Orcs is the best.
You're right. So let's just leave them out of the next series.
What? I don't like that.
So yeah, anyway, it's interesting that they're addressing, issues even as they move forward with another set coming out. Obviously, they're not going to be able to change the cards.
Yeah.
But they may just, for competitive play, they may be able to just say, nope, this is how this card works in tournaments. I don't know. I say more power to them because it's a great game. It's a lot of fun. I think they're staying on top of things that are getting weird as they see it. So,
yeah,
that's all you can ask for is that they try to keep it fair across the board, and to have just, a couple of cards in a 250 card release. Only a couple of cards had issues. Yeah, that's pretty good.
It is.
I would say.
Fair enough.
What else? Oh, and I wanted to tell you, I got an email from the folks who are doing the fantasy role-playing game, the new Warhammer
Cubicle 7?
Yeah, Cube 7.
Okay.
And it says, drum roll, please. We're getting ready, to ship and to start moving things out of the warehouse. So it'll probably be here before Wrath and Glory.
Oh, wow.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it sounds interesting. So
cool.
They had a picture of a big box, huge, like shipping box with nothing but books in it. And I'm like, nice. So they do have them. Nice.
That's good.
And they're saying, they'll start shipping here within the next couple of weeks. That's something to look forward to.
Did you get the limited edition Warlord thingy or whatever, or did you?
I don't think so. I think I just bought the regular edition,
Fair enough.
Yeah, because, I figured for role-playing game stuff, I don't like to get the fancy-dancy editions because you actually use that stuff when you're gaming and you
don't
tear it up.
Wear and tear. I get that.
Yeah.
I empathize with that position.
So that's about it for New Dawn, I think, really, isn't it? That's all I have on my list. So
I'm so far out of the loop now. I try to keep an eye out for the video games.
I know, it's hard.
I don't think there's anything.
It's nothing new that I've seen.
There you go.
All right, let's move on to creation.
All right.
And now for the realm of creation. I'm going to share some things that I got this last couple of weeks and some things that I worked on and what have you and, that kind of thing. The biggest news I had was I got the latest September asset drop box.
Yeah. What kind of delicious goodies did we get in that?
Well, once again, this thing is cooler than candy. And I truly love these boxes. There's just so much stuff out there and you don't ever see it until someone just forcibly sends it to you and says, here, try this.
Yeah, I think it's such a cool concept. And the fact that, not to derail it right off the bat, but what is it called? The GW Conquest? Is it the GW version, but it's only in England right now?
Only in England, yeah.
Yeah, if you guys make that worldwide.
Yeah.
Which I know they want to.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It'll be huge.
Huge, yeah. So cool. It's such a cool concept.
Yes, it is.
What did they send you this time?
So this time, there is... I don't know if I can say this online.
Uh-oh.
No. What it is it's a set of 3 paints from Foundry Paints. It's Nipple Pink Light, and Nipple Pink Shade. So...
Okay. I immediately thought of the movie Undercover Brother. Do you have the pink nipples and everything?
And everything.
Black man's kryptonite. Yeah. Anyways.
Yep. So basically what this is a super light flesh red pink shade.
Okay.
So not only is it good for certain races and what have you, but of course it's good for certain body parts too for people that, paint to that
accuracy.
Level.
Mm-hmm. Anatomical accuracy. That's the one.
Yes.
Take another stab at it, OJ. All right.
I love that one. I don't know why it always makes me laugh. Oh. Yeah, anyway, what it is, it's not pink, it's salmon. Okay.
Okay.
But no, really, it's a 3 paint set for getting the most out of, that color. Also in this one, there's some of the some stuff from Mig Jimenez, and if you don't know the name, he's a real huge name in scale model building for doing weathering and painting of World War II, World War I scale models, and especially dioramas and weathering.
2 scale models?
Yeah.
So it's like a life-size King Tiger that he paints with a...
No, scale models.
A GW brush.
124th scale, 135th scale.
No, I want to see him paint
Yeah.
a life-size tiger tank with a little
with a one brush.
Yeah.
It's my life.
It's not accurate enough. Get it off my table. Yeah.
Did you count those rivets?
Yeah.
But what this one has in it is gunmetal pigment and a pot of the dark tracks. So what you can do with it is basically make a hyper realistic set of treads for your vehicles.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So yeah, it's in it, and he has the process in here in the book also to do just that.
See, I think that's really cool. Is that they give you the paints and then they break down.
Yeah, and he shows you how to do it with pictures and everything.
Yeah.
Also included, not from Mig Jimenez, but from Allclad, is their mud pigment, which dovetails quite nicely in with the two previous to all make for a very nice weathered vehicle, be it wheels or tracks or what have you, or really anything.
Yeah.
That you want to make look like it's been in a battle. And then the last but not least, they have some stuff from Colors of War, which I'm not sure, but I think Colors of War is the company that made the paints for GW before this current incarnation during the last series of paints. I think Colors of War were the people that actually made the paints that got the GW brand. Okay. So I'm not certain. Don't quote me on that. That's
you've been quoted. It's already on the internet.
Okay, great. Yeah, I said it. So. I'm wrong. But anyway, you get dark leather, Motherland Earth, and Sicily Yellow. So obviously the goal here is probably going to be doing bags and yellows or bags and boxes and sacks and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So, yeah, and plus, of course, like I said, comes with a whole pamphlet for how to do all this stuff. And one of the things about the salmon, not nipple, color, is he does a whole thing on here about, different demon, using that as highlighting for different demons and what have you. So, yeah, if you look at the book, you'll see why that's a really cool set of paint.
Now, how was he able to get accurate demon skin shades and tones?
You just go up to one and rips them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like heresy to me.
No, it's you ask.
Oh, okay.
You request.
All
you
right.
don't just
get consent.
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
Sign a release. Are you 18?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Sure. So
fair enough.
And you can tell it's getting close to Halloween. Okay, so is that it for creation?
Yeah. Whatever you got. That's all we...
The only thing I literally, this last couple of weeks, like I said, we both got...
Looked like you built some, the Endless Spells.
Yes.
Unless you already had those.
The Endless Spell was done because I was getting it ready for today's game, which I didn't make it to.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
We'll talk about regret in the next section.
There we go. But yeah, I got the rest of the Nighthaunt, but I still have to paint.
I can't wait till you get the Goblin...
the
Night Vault.
Gits?
Yeah, it gets done. I want to see
they
those.
Look cool.
Phenomenal. Does that one have the troll in it?
I don't.
That troll model they previewed?
No,
or is that... What was that troll? I thought the troll model was for...
Was for this?
Yeah.
No, this is just MoonClan.
Oh, man.
So
cool.
The troll model was for... what was it for? Gosh darn it. I don't remember.
I don't remember either. But it looked gorgeous.
I know.
And then I thought with this... that maybe we were getting a taste of the direction they wanted to go with
teaser
Grots.
for the MoonClan.
MoonClan or just Grots in general, right? Like
it probably is.
I hope so, man. These these have so much character to them. It's
yes,
so good.
they do.
So
yes, they do.
Definitely pumped for Mushroom Gabos.
Yep. So we're gonna skip battle because the only thing I have is some Night Vault games. Warhammer Underworlds, Night Vault games, and don't want to bore anybody with that.
My eyes will glaze over.
Yeah.
I really want to care about that game, but it's just
so much fun.
Not in me.
I'm sorry.
Not in me. I know. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
The models. I mean, you're playing with a handful of character models.
Yes.
Essentially, every one of them has so much detail, and they're so rich. And
even the chain rasps from the Night Haunt, they're all different from the other set, and they all have something that makes them stand out, so you can tell who's who.
All 7 of the skeletons.
Yeah.
Looked
had that individual
just like some
look
static
to them.
Pose.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
I'm always excited. I'm always excited to see the models for the game.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, the game itself just doesn't quite
do it for you.
Do it for me.
All right. All right, so let's get ready for lore.
Jump straight into it.
Yeah. Okay, so in today's realm of lore, as we said at the top, we're going to cover 2 realms because the 2 realms we're covering have very little fleshed out about them. The first one we're going to do is Ulgu, and then we'll move on to Hish. But Ulgu itself, there's not a whole lot. There was a little bit more when the Daughters of came out, but really there's still just a couple of pages in the big core book about it. There's a couple of pages in the big book. In the General's Handbook, there's the weapons and artifacts and all that other good stuff. And then, of course, there's a endless spell that applies to it. But to start off with, Ulgu is known as the Realm of Shadow. It's where things go to die, basically. I mean, there's been so many forces that were sent to Ulgu that never returned. And then there's forces inside Ulgu that were sent to different places that have never returned. So it's really a place where treachery and death lie around every corner. A realm of secrets and riddles on the wind. So it's called the Grey Realm by many. And I'm literally quoting right out of the book.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting realm in that they did develop it a little bit more now since, it's the hereditary place of Malarian and all that stuff. It figures a lot more for the Daughters of Cain.
Yeah.
So it's definitely had a little bit of fleshing out, but I think they purposely didn't talk a whole lot about it because they like that air of mystery. There's a lot of the cloak of the veil of shadows that hangs over Ulgu. I don't think they really want to overdevelop it yet.
And I wonder how much of it they want to leave for when they do Malarian's army.
Yeah.
And because I know some of the army books have kind of been critiqued for being light on the background and things like that. Like I know the KO book was pretty light like that.
Yeah.
And everything. So if they could really save a lot of the information for Ulgu when they do Malarian's elf army and then Haish when they do Tyrion.
Yeah.
His army, that would be.
Yeah, you kind of figure when they do the big A-Elf releases, we're going to see more for these two.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
and who knows, there could be like a big campaign.
Yeah, yeah.
Setting coming out that would involve the 2 realms. That would be really cool as well.
That would be. I'd love to see that. I mean, something that really fleshes it out and gives you all kinds of extra opportunity.
Kind of the whole malign portents did with the Realm of Death and whatnot. Yeah. So, yeah.
And honestly, the way they're releasing stuff, I don't see that as out of the realm of possibility because they seem to really enjoy fleshing. When they decide to flesh something out, they go
all in.
All in on it, yeah. So I really kind of hope they do. This one, Ulgu really does jump out at me because it is so mysterious and it is, like it's always misty. It's always lies and treachery, but not Slaneshi or not Zinchian kind of treachery. It's more like Slaneshi treachery. So in your face kind of treachery.
Which means, we could also get more when they do the Slanesh stuff.
Yeah, we might see it in January. Who knows? But yeah, it's a realm, even when you look at the artwork, it's almost always gray and misty and you can't see too far in the distance. And there's even a passage, one of the passages I saw that struck me was that the whole realm has been dark for so long that when Sigmar finally decided to come out and release the Stormcast, let me quote it. It says, "When Sigmar opened the gates of the realm of Azir, the shadows shifted enough that Sigendil, the high star, was able to be seen. Pillars of energy burst from Ulgu's skies to throw light where it had never been seen before." And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
It is. So some of the little tidbit factoids that are attached to Ulgu, one of the ones that I glommed onto right away was that the Terrorgeist's ancestors may have come from Ulgu to Shyish, where Nagash then enslaved them. So if this is the home of Terrorgeist, I want to go.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to meet one.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, no. Well, I think we agreed last time. There's no realm I really want to go to, except Azir, maybe. Yeah. I think that would be way too Republican for me.
Man, okay. Let's save that question. If you had to pick a realm.
Yeah.
Let's save it for when we're done.
Yeah, when we're done and we do these wrap-ups. And yeah.
That might be cool.
It would be.
No, when we know a little more about them.
Yeah. So some of the big locations in Olgu that are, and these are pretty easy. If you look up anything about these guys, these realms online, you'll see the same things mentioned over and over in the same quotes with the same call-outs. So, the Penumbral Sea is one of the big locations in Olgu. That's where the Flesh Eater Mordants floated out from.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can't beat that, huh? So, there's a Quicksilver Swamp, and that's where Scylla Anfingrim hunted and killed the Hydra. What's his name? Gorgahol here. So, yeah,
okay.
There's the Ashcloud Mountains, which is the fortress home of the Legion of Asgore. So if you were doing your Legion of Asgore army, here's your hometown.
Yeah.
So
interesting. You'd think they'd be from the Realm of Fire.
I know.
Yeah.
But right here.
Well, I guess, they're a good mixture of shadow and flame.
Yep. So there's a couple of big named realm gates. There's the Bridge of Sorrows. That was the realm gate that connected Olgu and Shyish. After it was opened and corrupted by chaos, the Seraphon intervened. And I don't know what the result of that intervening was. I think they returned it to good guy control. And then you have the Penumbral Gate, which is the Archway of Olgu. The fate of that realm gate, they say, is currently a mystery, as all forces sent there do not return.
Okay.
So, and I know from some of the footnotes in this one that it's not just Sigmar has sent some forces to go look for it. Khorne sent some. A lot of different people have sent people to look for this realm gate, and none of them have ever come back. So that's a story hook right there. That could be Malarian setting up I got this, and I don't need anybody messing with it. Or, I don't know. They could do anything with that tidbit.
Yeah, definitely.
So do you have any other little factoid tidbits you want to hit, or should we jump into the meaty part?
Well, did you ever... Because I had mentioned this before. God, man, if any of the listeners remember reading something about this, about an army, it was, I think, Stormcast that were sent, or maybe it was Fire Slayers, I don't remember, into the Realm of Shadow, and they came back. Only a couple of them came back, and they were completely crazy and covered in white scars. I cannot, for the life of me, remember.
I remember you talking about that, but I don't remember where it was from. I know it's in one of the books somewhere.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've read so many now. They kind of, mush together.
I really wish I could remember that one.
Yeah.
So
maybe one of our good listeners will
tell
us what it was. So,
or maybe I'm just crazy.
I know, because that kind of spoke to Daughters of Cain, catching up to them and just sending a couple back to warn the rest.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Yeah. I don't really have anything other than I'm really, really hyped to see what they do with Malarian.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it'd be really sweet.
I think it's going to be a bit, when they really push the elves out, it's going to be a big thing. It'll be very cool to watch what they do. I know, this realm was talked about a lot in the Daughters of Cain book, because this is where Marathi has done all of her stuff with the Daughters of Cain.
Mm-hmm.
So, but even when you go through that book, there's not a lot of background on how and where this all came to be. There's a lot of just went here, went there, set up some temples here, set up some temples there, okay, Hagnar, all that stuff, that stuff's there, but not a lot of, well, how did it get started? How did this all, begin? So I think they're keeping that all in-house so they can develop it here shortly.
Fair enough.
I would imagine.
Fair enough.
So you want to move to good stuff?
Yeah, let's jump into that.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to talk about the rules for playing in Olgu.
The realm of Olgu.
So first off, any wizards will know the Mystifying Miasma spell, which for anyone who played back in 8th edition will know this is like one of the best. This is such a good signature spell back then.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it picked a unit on the easy cast, reduce something like movement, weapon skill, ballistic skill, or leadership, I want to say, by D3. And then if you cast it on the high value, it was all those stats by D3.
Oh, my God.
Really,
That's
really good
a hell of a debuff.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So in this, it has a casting value of 4. If successfully cast, you select an enemy unit within 18 inches of the caster that is visible to them. That unit cannot run until your next hero phase. In addition, subtract 2 from charge rolls for that unit until your next hero phase.
That could put a lot of destruction units out of sorts.
Yeah. There's also a fairly recent army filled with units that run in charge.
Oh, who could that be?
Yeah, the old beast of chaos. Yeah. That's solid. Movement is key in any tabletop game, and when you can disrupt that on your opponent's side, pretty useful.
Yeah, and especially couple that with the 2 from the charge. That can be huge when you're facing a destruction army that just wants to get in your face.
Right.
So,
then we have the Realm Command ability, the Lord of the Shadow Realm. Use this command ability at the start of your hero phase. If you do so, you can use either the Shadowed Mansions or Shadowed Realmscape feature on the right in the chart. In addition, after transferring or setting up the new unit in its new location, you do not have to roll to see if any of the models from the unit become lost in the Shadow Realms. So, I guess we'll see what Shadowed Mansions and Shadowed Realm do.
Well, no, what both of those do is basically Shadowed Mansions will take a friendly unit that's part of a garrison. So if you're using garrison rules, you can immediately transfer that unit to a different terrain feature that can have a garrison. So you can, basically if you have multiple buildings on the board, you can or anything that you can garrison, that you've determined that you can garrison, you can start moving them around. So it's very, very situational.
Yeah.
You have to be playing that kind of a scenario. But if you are, that's huge. The ability to just pick up and move, especially when you're looking at something like, say, Stormcast, who aren't going to cross the board that quickly, just to be able to teleport them without having to use one of your built-ins is huge.
Yeah, and then Shadow Realm is basically the same, but with the board edge. So you got to be within 6 inches of any edge of the battlefield. You can move that unit from the battlefield and then set it up more than 9 inches from enemy units and with all the models within 6 inches of a different edge of the battlefield.
Yeah.
Now, both of these, after you make the move, you roll a die for every model in the unit, and on a roll of a 1, you lose a model.
Yeah, it's still deadly terrain.
If you use the Realm Command ability, you don't have to
do that. Yeah. So those are both huge moves.
Yeah.
So
definitely that Shadow Realm one is.
Yeah. And again, these are very situational. Shadow Realm being a lot more open-ended. All you have to be is within 6 inches of the board edge.
Yeah.
So that gives you pretty much a free 72-inch move if you need it.
Yeah.
So, and that can be for objective grabbing or, in some of those weird scenarios where you have to get units off the board or into your opponent's deployment zone. Mm-hmm. That's huge. That's way huge.
Or if you're playing lengthwise.
Yeah.
Allow you to cross the board a lot faster.
Yeah.
The other 3, obviously for roll of 1, there's no effect. And then 2, 3, and 4 are basically just progressive distances on the limit of how far ranged attacks and spells can be. So 6 inches, 12 inches, or 18 inches.
Yeah.
And Impenetrable Gloom, the maximum range of attacks or spells is 6 inches, is bananas.
Yes.
I mean, the Iron Jaws player in me is
like
giddy with excitement.
Let's do that.
That is pretty rough.
That shuts down a Stormcast army that shoots.
Yeah.
Shuts down Sylvaneth. Anything that really bases a lot on shooting.
Yeah. I mean.
End of story.
Yeah. I don't want to. I was going to mention Krodgen Overlords, but I won't. I won't go there.
Well, it does hamper them in a small way. Like everything else.
Yeah. Anyways.
So those are the Realmscape features. So I guess now we're going to move on to artifacts and
spells.
Do they have spells there?
Yeah, let's do the spells. So the first one, Labyrinth of Sorrows. Casting value of 5. Pick an enemy unit within 12 inches that's visible. Have their move characteristics until the unit of that unit
your
until
next hero phase.
So, always good.
That's bonkers because double turn, that means basically 2.
But it is a 12-inch range, so be careful with that.
Mm-hmm.
But on something like I don't know, an entire Iron Jaws army has movement 4, goes to movement 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hit them with the
other
realm spell. They can't run. Oh, tough.
Yeah, and take 2 off their charge.
So, the next is Crown of Asphyxiation. Casting value 6. If you cast it, roll a die for each enemy unit within 3 inches of the caster. On a 4+, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Yeah, that one doesn't really.
It's pretty much one of the standard spells you see in almost every list.
Yeah.
For mortal wound.
Kind of an interesting one. Might be good on something like Archeon, who's going to potentially be up in combat, or any kind of a combat caster.
Yeah, something that's going to be surrounded by a lot of...
Yeah, a combat caster can cast multiple spells, so maybe some of the Night Haunt ones who can cast 2 spells, or Nagash. Maybe.
When you're looking for that last thing to waste your last spell on.
Yeah. Never know.
Yeah.
The next one, the Enfeebling. This is another throwback spell. Used to be one that would reduce strength by D3.
Ooh, boy.
If you cast it on the big one, it just was an automatic 3. So pretty good. However, in the new rules set, casting value is 6. Pick an enemy unit within 12 inches of the caster. Does not say visible. Reroll failed wound rolls for attacks that target this unit. Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, you wound better.
Yeah, you will hit them better.
Yeah.
And that's reroll wounds, not ones on wounds. Reroll wounds.
Wound rolls for attacks that target, so that's everything that wounds. So shooting, combat.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's a tasty one.
Mm-hmm. Anytime you get reroll wounds.
Yeah, especially when you got stuff that's on a roll of a 6 to wound. You do mortals or...
Mm-hmm.
with Night Haunt.
Yeah.
All the ethereal attacks.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Nice.
All right. You going to do the next one? Phantasmal Guardian.
Phantasmal Guardian has a casting value of 6. If successfully cast, roll a die. Each time you allocate a wound or mortal wound to the caster until your next hero phase, on a 5-up, the wound's negated. So that's your death save.
Yeah.
So.
Not bad.
Mm-hmm. And if you have multiple spells and you're a combat caster, hey, you know what?
Well, nothing wrong with a little added protection.
You betcha. And that's wound or mortal wound.
Yeah.
So that's a good spell. You have Bridge of Shadows, which is next. Has a casting value of 6. If successfully cast, pick a friendly unit wholly within 12 inches of the caster. Remove it from the battlefield. Uh-oh. Oh, but wait. Set it up anywhere on the battlefield that is wholly within 24 inches of the caster and more than 9 inches away from any enemy models. May not move in the subsequent movement phase. It's good, and it's free movement.
Yep.
But there's some limitations there.
Yeah.
It's a leapfrog kind of thing. You're going to take something that's within 12 and shove it up to within 24. So it's not like the big board long teleport from the other page, but...
But it is in the hero phase, so that might mean you get some shooting in range, stuff like that.
Or if you're facing, a Khorne who's doing his thing in the hero phase to go again to do another combat phase, you might need to interject a unit in between you and them.
Yep.
Might be a real helpful.
Throw a little chaff in front.
Yeah.
The last one, Etheric Tendrils.
Oh, okay, I'll get it. Etheric Tendrils has a casting value of 6. If successfully cast, pick an enemy unit within 12 inches of the caster that is visible to them. That unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. If it's a hero or a monster, you can make a normal move with that unit as if it had a movement characteristic of 4.
Ooh.
So this is kind of a double slap in the face. Not only do you get mortal wounds, but I'm pushing you back or pulling you forward, depending on what makes more sense at the time.
Or pushing you towards a piece of terrain to be affected by that.
Yeah. Or something. I mean, there's all kinds of utility to that. Granted, it's only 4 inches, but a lot of times that could really mess up their day.
Hey.
So,
yeah, ask any of the ladies. There's a lot you can do with 4 inches.
how did I know we were going to end up there? So those are the spells of Olgu.
All right, so we'll go into the artifacts of power.
They have those
weapons.
there.
The weapons of Olgu, I believe. Oh yeah, this is where we dig into some disgustingly powerful artifacts.
Yes.
Let's just go down the list.
Okay.
Because it looks like the best ones are, well, potentially the best ones are at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Miasmatic Blade. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons to be a miasmatic blade. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks that target the bearer. That's, always pretty decent.
Yeah, that's you can't beat anything that gives you that kind of number.
And it could stack with other minuses to
other
be hit.
things,
So, and it's subtract 1 from all hit rolls. So
right.
that's a shooting and...
yes, it is. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks that target the bearer. Yeah, that's shooting and combat.
Yep.
So,
Blade of the 13 Dominions.
Which in and of itself would be great if it wasn't for the last one.
Yeah. Just pick one of the bearer's melee weapons to be the Blade of 13 Dominions. Allocate wounds inflicted by that weapon before allocating wounds inflicted by any other attacks made by the bearer. If 1 or more wounds are inflicted on an enemy unit by the weapon, subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by that unit until the... Wow.
It's kind of weird the way they say...
That is really situational.
Yeah.
You got to put it on somebody who's going to go first.
Yeah. And why they say you have to allocate wounds inflicted by that before anything else?
Well, so if you're like a Maw Crusher...
Oh, yeah.
Megabot,
Gotcha.
the Maw Crusher has the nasty rend and everything.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay if you're going to pile multiple units into the target unit.
Yeah.
It's potentially a weapon that helps deal with Death Stars.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's not really Death Stars so much anymore, but
still,
just really tough units.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
situational, but it definitely has those spots where it's going to be big.
Yeah.
The next one is the Blade of Folded Shadows. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons to be a Blade of Folded Shadows. Add 1 to hit rolls for that weapon. It's stock standard. Can't beat a +1 to hit, but there's better.
Yeah.
In this very list.
This blade is forged from weightless darkness.
Oh.
So, balance on that has got to be terrible.
It's all in the hilt.
Yeah.
Wow. You could really mess somebody up that's a trained swordsman. Hand them that, and they're just like falling all over the place.
Like swinging a lightsaber.
Yeah. Hello. I don't want one.
No. Add 1 to chopping your own arm off.
Yeah.
All right. Blade of Secrets. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons to be a Blade of Secrets. Allocate wounds inflicted by that weapon before allocating wounds inflicted by... If 1 or more wounds are inflicted on an enemy wizard by that weapon, pick 1 spell that wizard knows. That wizard may not attempt to cast that spell again during the battle.
Now that is super situational and potentially huge.
Yeah.
I mean...
You could, put that on an assassin.
Yeah.
Have him pop out and try and just jack up Arcan or Nagash or... Well, really, those two are the two that come to mind the quickest. But there's other...
Put it on a changeling and go after your slan.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do with that. I mean, it's a nasty little... And again, it's very situational. You got a wound, though. Yeah, and you have to have a plan that kind of revolves around doing that.
Yeah.
Because to say generically that that's going to get you through a whole tournament, I don't think so.
No.
So, but it's still really cool, and I think it has a lot of narrative play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. However, these next two, these would likely see tournament play.
I don't see them in a lot of... Oh, yeah, no, they're in every list.
They're pretty rampant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go with the Dimensional Blade. Pick one of the bearers. Pick a weapon. It's Rend 3.
Yeah.
Rend freaking
change
3.
its Rend to 3. So from Rend 0 to, hi, cut your head off.
Yeah. This is the time that Archeon really hates being a special character.
Yeah, he hates having that name.
You're going to put down that Slayer of Kings and pick up a Dimensional Blade.
Yeah. Can I just be Joe?
You got to make a couple more payments on that before you can get an upgrade, kid.
And then, last but not least, as if that one wasn't good enough, we have the Sword of Judgment. You may have heard of the Sword of Judgment before.
Yeah.
But pick one of the bearer's melee weapons to be a Sword of Judgment. If the hit rolls for an attack with that weapon against a hero or monster is 6+, that attack inflicts 6d6 mortal wounds, and the attack sequence ends. Do not make a wound or save roll. So, hi, 6 mortal wounds in your face.
Well, D6.
D6.
For every one.
Yeah.
That rolls a 6+.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a 6+, not an unmodified roll. So
6+.
you take a Maw Crusher.
Mm-hmm.
You throw it on one of his attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, you put it on a foot boss because he has 6 attacks base.
Right. Yeah.
You save a few turns worth of command points.
Yeah.
Maybe throw a formation or 2 in there.
Mm-hmm.
Drop 4, 5, 6 wogs all at once. And hit him with a couple of war chantes. So he's, doing mortal wounds on a 3.
On a 3, yeah.
And
so
watch him
36
just blender.
Yeah.
Sweet, Archeon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, your Archeon.
I guess I'll go ahead and take
sure
over the Realm of Chaos.
Can I be the chosen now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice knowing you.
Yeah. You were good, though. You looked
gave it a good
doing
run, kid.
Yeah. Try harder.
Yeah. I believe I said it earlier when I said Orcs is the best. So
learn to Archeon better.
I can't remember. Did they errata the Sword of Judgment?
I believe they did. I believe they changed it. Didn't they change it to a 6?
I can't remember.
I don't. I know they did do a nerf to the Sword of Judgment, and this is straight out of the old book. So what did I do with my page of nerfs?
I don't know.
Let me pause real quick.
Okay, so yeah.
No change to that.
No change. All right, well, the relics of Olgu. Go through these real quick.
Sure.
Got the spell mirror. If a friendly unit within 6 inches of the bearer is affected by a spell, you can roll a die. On a 5+, that unit is not affected by the spell. On a 1, the spell mirror may not be used for the rest of the battle.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this being one that everybody was talking about using right away.
Yeah, it was going to be the answer to Nagash casting spells through the Umbral spell portal.
Yeah.
But that got, fixed, so this isn't as prevalent, I don't think.
No.
It didn't become as prevalent as I thought people thought it might become.
Trickster's Helm is another artifact. It's a shout out to the old days. Reroll successful casting rolls for enemy wizards while they were within 8 inches of the bearer. That sounds really good, but I think, if you were to put it on something like an assassin or something like that, the problem is any wizard that's going to be casting enough spells to be an issue, I think is going to be a good enough cast.
Deal with
it's
you.
Like a changer of ways is going to be can just. Yeah, I don't think they're really going to struggle to get spells through.
No.
And you'd be better off just relying on a 27-inch or 24-inch. What is it now?
30-inch.
30-inch.
Unbind
range. So.
Yep. Yeah, that to me seems like a waste of an artifact. Well, again, super situational.
Yeah.
If you know you have to have it, then it's worth it, but not generic.
Yeah, I mean, maybe on Fire Slayers where you could tunnel, potentially charge, but now you got a not great combat character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, it's still not going to. Yeah.
All right.
You have Wristbands of Illusion. Roll a die each time you allocate a wound to the bearer. On a 6 up, the wound is negated. So there's your old death save, but it's...
Well, it's just wounds.
And it's just wounds, not mortal wounds. So it's
kind of moving on. Doppelganger Cloak. The bearer cannot be chosen as the target of an attack with an enemy melee weapon unless the bearer has made any attacks earlier in the same phase.
Yeah. So if you don't attack, you can't be picked to attack.
Right. But you do have to attack now. Right. Eventually.
Which is really strange. So you have to plan it so that you save that guy for the very last combat. The last swing.
Yeah. I could see it being useful, but you really... That's a chess piece there.
Yeah, big time. Because the combat could go in ways that you don't expect it to go. And, But again, if it's one of those things where if you have a squishy caster, if you have like a fungoid cave shaman or something like that you just don't want involved in any combats. But again, you have to plan it so that there's an odd number of combats and you pick first so that he's the last one to go. You know, it's so, you really have to map that one out. Yeah. And sometimes your opponent will actually play the game also and screw up your day.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah. Betrayer's Crown. Once per battle at the start of the combat phase, pick an enemy unit within 3 inches of the bearer that has 2 or more models. Roll a dice for each model in that enemy unit. On a 5+, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound.
Oh, yeah.
That is potentially tasty.
And it's a once per battle, but when you do get involved with that, you know, unit of 10 brutes, or, you know, anytime you can make some big
30
one wound.
Bastigor.
Huh?
30 Bastigor.
Yeah. So you can make 1 wound guys go away.
Yeah.
You're doing yourself a lot of favors.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
And it's at the start of the combat phase. Doesn't say your combat phase.
No, at the start of the combat phase.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can... Again, it's thankfully it's once per battle, because otherwise that would be way too strong.
That'd be heinous, yeah.
Yeah, so, but it's still, I mean, that's a 5 up, so it's pretty much a 1 in 3 chance of...
Yeah, a third of a unit.
Mm-hmm. Going away. See ya.
Not bad.
Mm-hmm. For 1 wound models, or if you know you have the upper hand, just doing that 1 wound to a lot of models, you might just take off the rest during combat and battle shock the rest. Who knows? Very good unit. Very good.
Artifact. Yeah, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, because it's roll a die for each model, so you could potentially have a lot of models with 1 wound, or a lot of Stormcasts with 1 wound on them. So.
Yeah. 60 grots.
Yeah.
I mean, statistically, you take 20 of them off,
Mm-hmm.
and then you fight a combat with them.
Yeah.
With a bunch of squishy dudes. Yeah, you could pop them in I don't know if you'd want to burn an artifact to kill 60 grots. Yeah. I don't
depending on if they're holding that objective you need.
Yeah.
Could be worth it. So.
Well, I don't know. 30 or 40 witches, maybe.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
That might help.
That's huge. Because that's a lot of it. I mean, they have way more attacks than they're worth.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that, but don't mean it that way. But
yeah,
their value outweighs their number.
Pretty nasty combat unit.
Yeah, don't tell Chuck more about those. He won't like that. He won't like that artifact.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one?
Yeah, the Talisman of the Watcher. If the bearer is not within 3 inches of an enemy unit at the start of the combat phase, pick a friendly unit within 9 inches of the bearer. Reroll save rolls of 1 for that unit. So, little convoluted and a little weird. But basically, you can't be within 3 inches of an enemy unit. Then you can pick a friendly unit within 9 inches of you, not wholly, but 9 inches, and they can reroll save rolls of 1.
That is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you don't have to be wholly within 9.
Right.
Huh.
So it's a nice way to
that.
give a reroll.
Yeah.
Reroll 1s to a unit somewhere, as long as you're not in combat with them. So you're not going to put this on your combat character. You're going to put this on your shadowy.
That's something you could put on Fire Slayers.
Sure.
With a unit that tunnels and then 30.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, they already have because they reroll reroll save rolls. Yeah. So the hair save you wouldn't get. But I mean, they normally get the reroll from the banner, but the banner wouldn't be potentially within range.
Right.
Huh.
So you could guarantee that they get at least a reroll 1s.
Yeah, so they have a 4-up rerolling 1s, a 4-up.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
That'd be tasty.
Yeah. And that is Olgu.
That's Olgu. So, again, we spent more time on weapons and spells. And,
yeah, I mean, that's going to be the case with both of these.
It is, because there's just not a lot of history with, or lore backing up the others.
Yet.
So, yet. I would say stay tuned, because they are probably going to fix that.
All right. So, you want to just jump straight into the wonderful realm of light?
Sheesh. Yeah.
All right. What do you got for us with old Tyrion's realm?
Well, yeah. It's another elven realm.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know, draw your own conclusions. We're covering 2 elven realms that are very underdeveloped right now. Go figure. Okay. Might be something to that. I mean, we're not saying anything because we don't know. We're just assuming.
Right.
But the realm of light, realm is divided into 10 paradises.
Okay.
So it's kind of an interesting place. I mean, it's the polar opposite to Olgu. Because here, everything is, you look at all the artwork, everything is bright, almost to the point of being annoying.
Yeah.
And you can see forever, and it's clear. And if you're not something that likes light, you're not going to want to be here.
Yeah.
Because this is not your style. So the 10 paradises are the Dreaming Tombs, the Dreaming Plains, the Glass Mountains, the Galus Ocean, Lunarest, Lycurna, the Plain of Sigils, the Shadow Wastes, the Soothsaying Conclaves, the Transient Isles, the Tourmaline Spires, and the Weaveweld Spire. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's part of the other one. Sorry. Forget that last one.
Okay.
I forgot where the little dot thing was. So, yeah. In each one of these paradises, and, take paradise with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
So,
because this is another realm that's been affected by chaos.
yeah,
right?
in a big way. Like the realm or the paradise called the Dreaming Tombs, because of the wars of the Age of Sigmar, the Flesh Eater courts have spread out from here. So, paradise is sort of in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Now, the Dreaming Plains, I kind of like that place. I'd like to go see it myself, because that's where the Seraphon built the geometric tower.
Oh.
So, and me being a, Seraphon guy. The Glass Mountains, you find a lot of Tzeentch followers there, erecting altars and stuff, because that's what they do. The Galus Oceans, the great ocean of the realms, the first of the Ideneth Deepkin were settled there by Teclis. So that's where the whole thing started to go wrong.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah. So when they say paradise, kind of take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lodge of, there's a couple of Dwarven lodges here. Fireslayer and Dwarven lodges. Thungar Lodge is in Lunarest. There's a human city of Tyrion worshippers that was destroyed by the Cornate warlord Granos in the realm or the paradise of Lycurna.
What a jerk.
Yeah. Well, these things will happen. So there's a lot of things like that. They have these cool names for each one of these paradises, but then there's some little gotcha in each one that makes it like, really? Paradise?
Yeah.
So
Chaos is real good at that.
Yeah, they twist everything. So a couple of the big realm gates in Hysh. You have the Archway of Hysh. They call it the Unnamed Realm Gate that connects Hysh to the All Points. So again, this is one of the ones that was fought over during the All Points War. Mm-hmm. The All Points part of the what's the name? Yeah, the Realm Gate Wars. I almost drew a blank on what was the wars before Soul Wars? Realm Gate Wars, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then there's also the Crystal Portals. Now, these are the Realm Gates, another set of big Realm Gates that Archaon sabotaged with murder spells. What a guy, huh?
Right.
After learning that Sigmar was trying to capture them. So basically, he had, I believe it was, Gaunt Summoners or something like that, put a whole bunch of murder spells on these gates so that if you went through them,
you were murdered.
You were basically dead. And so it was one of those gotchas, the first, you don't hear anything coming back from the other side of the gate. So you're like, I guess everybody made it through. Let's go. Uh-oh. So
it's like, yeah. I'm going to say that episode of Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
And they open the portal to the Blender universe. That's the oldest trick in the book.
I hate that one.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Who was it I saw the other day had a Rick and Morty t-shirt on, and I nearly collapsed. I mean, it was like older, way older than me, and looked like one of those grumpy old grandfathers.
Oh, jeez.
And, yeah, had a Rick and Morty shirt on. Either had no idea, one of the younger kids in the family got it for him, or he was a true Rick and Morty guy because he really identified with that.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, you don't look like a Rick and Morty guy. I mean, I don't look like a Rick and Morty guy, but yeah, what I do in my own home is, my thing.
There you go.
So background of Hysh really comes down to, it's another one of the very underdeveloped realms.
Yeah.
So again, Hish being a very mysterious realm, and I think it's mysterious on purpose. Even in the core book, they say the history of Hish is a peculiar one and not truly understood by any mind, save perhaps that of the Lord of Illumination himself. And then they go on and say a realm of symbolism and mind-expanding arithmetic lore, which tells me you got a lot of people running around with like calculators.
Yeah.
Ooh, I know the answer. Pick me. So maybe not,
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like everything is geometric. Everything fits together properly. Everything is ordered. Everything is Republican,
Oh my God.
Am I slipping those in tonight or what?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Get out of here.
Get out of here, kid. You're bothering me.
Get off my lawn.
So, the last little note they leave in the core book about Hish, and literally it's one page, is since the coming of the age of Sigmar, Hish has gone from a land of logic and order to a wilderness of broken dreams and shattered statues. That which was not cast down by the subtle curse of chaos has been smashed by the violence of open war. It is said that Lord Tyrion musters his forces for a great reconquest, but as yet salvation has not come. So if that doesn't scream, hey, look out for the next book, I don't know what does. So
Yeah. This would have to be the army that I'm most excited to see.
Oh, yeah?
Is Tyrion's army.
Yeah.
The idea, the potential for like angelic elves, paladin style elves.
Oh, yeah.
Because some of my favorite models are the old dragon knights.
Yeah.
Of Dol Amroth,
Yep.
right? No, Dol Amroth would be Middle
That's
Earth.
Tolkien.
Whoops.
Yeah.
The Dragon Knights from the High Elf
From
Dragon Knights
that place.
is some of my favorite models from the old Warhammer Fantasy. To see something potentially like that, but AOSified
Mm-hmm.
is
Yeah, taken to 11 will be very, very cool.
yeah.
So I have to agree. I think one of the two big draws for me for the old fantasy, not that I ever got into it, but were the Bretonnians and the elves.
Yeah.
That were just looking amazing.
God, I miss Bretonnians.
Yeah. That's if anything was going to drag me into the game back then, it would have been, somebody came to my house and dropped off a full Bretonnian army. I would have been like, oh, okay. So,
Mm-hmm. I had them both, man. I had a massive Bretonnian army and a massive High Elf army at one time.
Damn it.
Beautiful.
Then the whole world exploded. I hate you, GW. I hate you.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so let's get into the realm of light and all that it does for us.
All right.
So to start with, we have the magic for Hish, and the spell that you get is called Vaz Protection.
Yep. Another throwback to
the old days?
world.
There you go.
I believe Foz Protection used to give you -1 to be hit from ranged attacks or something like that. Add 1 to your savings. I don't remember.
Something.
Yeah, it was never really used.
Okay. Well, in the new edition, Vaz Protection has a casting value of 5. If successfully cast, select a friendly unit within 18 inches of the caster that is visible to them. Subtract 1 from hit rolls made for attacks that target that unit until the next hero phase. So, not wholly within, but has to be visible.
Yeah.
So, but it's still 18 inches. And subtracting 1 from hit rolls, again, like we say, anything that adds or subtracts from, hit rolls, that has a pretty big effect in a D6 game. So,
Yep.
that can be very, very good if you need that.
And I think you would always need a little something like that.
Mm-hmm. Never hurts.
So
if you have the spells to cast, it's a good one.
Yep.
Did you want to do the realm command?
So the realm command is Strike Quickly.
Dun, dun, dun.
You can use this command ability at the start of the combat phase. If you do so, pick a friendly unit within 3 inches of a friendly hero or 12 inches of your general, and within 3 inches of the enemy. That unit fights immediately instead of fighting later in that combat phase. Well, I mean, it's your turn, so use a command ability.
I think
swing then.
Yep.
And then you go into the combat phase and you get to pick another unit to fight first.
Or your opponent has the phase and you don't want to wait until he decimates you. So if you have something that's on the verge of going down, a depreciation line on a monster, if you want to get that full strength attack in, you could pull this on them and say, hey, I'm going first, pal. So that could be very, very handy. And if you have the command point, it could be very big. I know the difference between a full strength Firelord on Zombie Dragon and one or two band down is huge.
Definitely.
And probably same thing with a Maw Crusher. So they all have that depreciating value, and that kicks in pretty quick on most of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is your way to fight at full strength.
All right.
Then we have some Realmscape features, with, once again, number 1 being...
No effect.
So, number 2, guess what? Dazzling Glow. Who knew the Realm of Light? Subtract 1 from hit rolls made for attacks that target units that are in cover.
Ooh.
So, you basically get double cover.
Well...
Or, an extra bonus to cover. You get -1 to hit, plus the save bonus. So, it's
not bad.
Really sweet.
Not bad at all.
Mm-hmm.
Speed of Light. At the start of your movement phase, roll a die. On a 6+, you can pick a friendly unit. Remove that unit from the battlefield and then set it up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from an enemy model. This counts as that unit's move for the movement phase. That is potentially really good if you can roll a 6+.
Yeah, of all of the movement spells, and most of the realms have some sort of movement spell, like the Olgu one, had 2 of them, but they were very, very situational. This one I don't like because it's a 6+.
Yeah.
So, granted, this is a Realmscape feature, so everybody has it, and you're always going to roll it. You're always going to try.
I feel like it's one of those that everybody would forget about.
Yeah, exactly. It's
because it's on a 6+.
Yeah. Again, but if you remember it, and that's a huge move.
Yeah.
So
these next 2 are pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
First one, Domain of Symmetry and Purity. Yes. Subtract 1 from the bravery characteristics of Chaos, Destruction, and Death units. That's pretty interesting.
That's really nasty because most of the destruction stuff has some
bravery.
Base low bravery anyway.
Yeah.
And so when you start piling onto them, and there's lots of armies there's even more armies being run now that are bravery debuff armies and just counting on battle shock. So this would help with that build.
Mm-hmm. And then the next one, Wilderness of Broken Dreams. Subtract 1 from the bravery characteristics of Order units.
Yeah. So you get your time in the sun too.
Yep.
So, as you weep for what once was and is not now.
Yeah.
The last one is the Etheric Beams of Light. In your hero phase, 1 friendly wizard can craft an Ether Quartz Prism instead of attempting to cast any spells in that phase. If they do so, they can attempt to cast 1 extra spell in each of their future hero phases and attempt to unbind 1 extra spell in each future enemy hero phase. A wizard cannot craft more than 1 Ether Quartz Prism per battle, though your other wizards can do so in future hero phases. So, again, keep in mind, these are going to affect everybody. These are realm features, so it's going to affect both sides. You basically give up a round of casting to get an extra cast for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's really good.
It's huge, especially when you're looking at the first turn. You're almost always not in range to do whatever you want to do.
Yep.
So you can't do all, but you're almost always going to use your first turn and pick one of your toughest, especially your combat wizards, and have them give up their casting that turn and get this bonus of extra spells for the rest of the game. And then, you can take one, usually you can find a way to take a turn off for all of the rest of them. So that's a huge Realmscape ability, but it's balanced by the fact that both sides get it.
Well, and you can't do it with all your wizards turn 1.
Right.
So.
Just 1 each turn, so. But still, that's huge. If you have like a combat caster who now just doubled his output.
Or you do that with Tree Lord Ancient or Alariel.
Yeah.
Lady Alindra.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Fungoid Cave Shaman go from 1 to 2 spells.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just a little throwaway character just became beastly.
Well, yeah, it's really important for armies that can cast multiple spells or have access to not just the spells on the War Scroll, but then army spells.
Sure.
But with this, you would also get the spells that we'll cover later. So even something like, I don't know, a Troll Hag, who already, I think, cast is it 1 or 2 spells? I don't remember. But, that's definitely a really solid caster, too, to do that with. So yeah, both sides are going to be pulling for a 6 in this one, I think, personally, because it's such a good spell. So, speaking of spells, let's jump into the spells of Heesh. So, the first one we got is Exercising Beam. Exercising Beam has a casting value of 6. If successfully cast, pick an enemy unit within 12 inches of the caster that is visible to them. The unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. If the unit is a demon or death unit, it suffers D6 mortal wounds instead.
Which I think is actually bullshit. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
Picking on death.
And demons. Take that. Both your Nurgle and your death.
My Nurgle and my death are both nerfed.
Yeah.
But it pretty much makes sense. It's a searing beam of light.
Yeah.
So.
In the realm that you shouldn't be in.
Yeah.
You don't belong there.
Yep.
Rent's doubled.
But, I mean, overall, it's a pretty good spell. It's an easy casting value of 6. It's a 12-inch range, so it's not awesome. But it's still D3 mortal wounds or potentially D6.
D6 is strong.
Yeah, neither one of those really
Slap
hurts.
a character with that. It's going to tickle. Light of Battle. Light of Battle has a casting value of 5. If successfully cast, pick a friendly unit within 18 inches of the caster. Do not take battle shock tests for that unit until your next hero phase.
Yeah. Can you say command point battery?
Yeah.
Yeah, that saves you command points.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a casting value of 5, if you have multiple spells, that one's huge. You just put it on all your guys in combat and don't worry about having to waste that command point on, I have to save this battle shock. That's a huge, huge spell.
Yeah.
And you look at destruction guys who have, inherently low braveries, or if you're running up against one of those armies that is doing the bravery debuffs, you've just taken their trick away from them.
Yeah. Casting that on a big unit of brutes saves you a command point so that you can log more.
Yeah.
Stuff like
that.
So
that's a huge spell. I love that one.
Yeah.
Vengeful Illumination has a casting value of 7, so it's reasonably tough to cast. If successfully cast, pick an enemy unit within 18 inches of the caster that is visible to them. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made with missile weapons that target that unit until your next hero phase.
That is pretty strong in certain armies.
Yes, it is.
So I think Stormcast right away.
Yeah.
With the Judicators
or Eat My Celestar Ballista.
Yeah. Or Long Strikes. You could also throw it on a Stormcast character in a KO army. You know, make a KO shoot a little better.
Yep. Anytime you're bringing Skyfires, you're going to want that around. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, because adding 1 to hit just makes them that much better.
Yep.
So.
Yep. The next one, Etheric Net, has a casting value of 6. If successfully cast, pick a point on the battlefield within 18 inches of the caster. Roll a dice for each unit, friend or foe, within 3 inches of that point. On a 4-up, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound, and its move characteristic is halved until your next hero phase. Yeah, that's... it's good with the range, right? 18 inches, but then it's on a 4-up.
Right, and that's the only downside to that. Because when I see this, I think just screw Iron Jaws. The way they like to mass up the brutes or mass up all of their units so that they get maximum attacks. Same thing with going up against Beast Claw Raiders.
Fire Slayers.
Where, you're going to see lots of Thunder Tusk, or what's his name? The Raiders. Morin Fangs.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, you're going to see them massed up so they can get the charge bonus.
Yeah.
And then now all of a sudden, move halved. Sorry.
Daughters of Cain.
Yeah.
Going to be a bunch of whole big blob units,
Mhm.
stuff like that. You might get 2 or 3 of them.
So again, but you're still hampered by that 4 up.
Yeah.
And the suffer 1 mortal wound, I don't think is really
Yeah,
the goal of
that's
that spell. It's having the
a little
movement.
salt on the wound. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the movement debuff.
Mm-hmm.
Healing Glow. Healing Glow has a casting value of 7, so a little high. If successfully cast, pick a friendly unit within 6 inches of the caster that is visible to them. Heal D3 wounds allocated to that unit. Healing is something that's been showing up a lot in the game, especially ever since Sylvaneth dropped. But there's still a lot of armies out there that don't have access to that. So this could be their way in to doing that, you know. Or it's just another thing that you could put. Imagine that on a Vampire Lord, a Zombie Dragon. You got the Chalice of Blood. You have your normal heals. Yeah,
and then you have this
throw
extra.
this on. He's just that much more of a machine.
Yep, and it's you cannot understate. Yeah, it's only healing a D3 mortal wounds or a D3 wounds. But you cannot understate the benefit of going up a damage table, on these depreciating monsters and heroes.
Yep.
It's huge to go up a table, even if it doesn't last all that long. If it gets you that one combat phase that you need to do work.
Yep. All of a sudden you go from hitting on a 4 to a 3.
Yeah.
With your 4 attacks or something that can really swing a combat.
Exactly. So another good one.
So why don't you do this next one, because I know it's gotten some errata.
Yes, it has. In fact, we have to refer to the errata here in a second. But this is Banishment. As written right now, let me go to... Okay. In the July 2018 FAQ, it was rewritten to read, Banishment has a casting value of 8. If successfully cast, pick one enemy unit within 12 inches of the caster that is visible to them. Your opponent must remove that unit from the battlefield and then set it up again anywhere on the battlefield more than 24 inches from the caster and more than 9 inches away from any other models in the caster's army.
So the change there is that in the original writing, the person that casts the spell removed the unit.
Right.
So
now it's...
Yeah, that's not nearly as dirty.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's not... When you can move your opponent's units around, that's disgusting. That's
where you got into those really crap situations where you would put units into situations they couldn't get out of. You
could be Sylvaneth and potentially pick up your opponent's unit and drop it into one of your wildwoods.
And then kill it off. Yeah.
God.
So, and that's where it was just being abused so much.
Yeah.
You would pick up a unit of Mournfangs or a Thundertusk and put it somewhere where it couldn't move.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of abuses for that. So at least by letting the owner do it, you still have to be 24 inches away from anybody.
Well, from the caster.
Yeah, from the caster.
So that would get you out of combat too.
Yeah.
That makes... I mean, yeah, this is still a strong spell.
It's very strong, but it's not as negative.
Yeah.
As...
I can make some feel bad moments.
Oh, a couple. A couple.
All right.
So,
jump into the weapons. Right?
Yes, the relics of Hysh.
So, first up, the Blade of Symmetry. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons to be a Blade of Symmetry. Add 1 to the damage characteristic of that weapon. So, that's actually really good on models that have like Ren 2 or Ren 3 naturally on a weapon, but sometimes low damage. There's a lot of like Ren 2 damage 1 stuff
which
out
just
there.
Hurts your feelings.
Yeah. So if you can, Ren 2 damage 2, all of a sudden that's for real.
And another thing to think about too is when you're fighting anything that has the standard rule now for having damage, if you have that 2 damage weapon that gets half to 1 damage. Say you're going up against Beast Claws or some of the other things that have that half the weapon's damage. If you change that to a 3, now it becomes a 2. So you get a little bit more damage through each time. So lots of neat little things to do with that, although I don't know if it's an auto take.
No, probably not. Yeah. Gleaming Blade. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons to be the Gleaming Blade. allocate wounds inflicted by that weapon before allocating wounds inflicted by any other attacks made by the bearer. If one or more wounds are inflicted on an enemy unit by that weapon, heal one wound allocated to the bearer.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It's like a vampiric sword.
yeah.
It's kind of nice.
So I'm thinking something like a foot boss for Iron Jaws. You got 6 attacks on that axe. It's already pretty nasty. It's rend 1, damage 2.
Mm-hmm. See, that's the difference. I'm thinking Grit and Clean one.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. Instead of put that on the baleful sword and getting the heals. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not bad.
Yeah.
But, like I said, the foot boss, he's got 7 wounds.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone that gets every wound. Yeah. And it's a 2 damage weapon. Mm-hmm. So if you're going up against like some light infantry, he could just heal himself right back up pretty quick.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not bad.
It's pretty beefy for any character, really.
Yeah.
So it's a good artifact. Or weapon. Sorry, artifact weapon. It's a good one.
Yeah.
I like it. So next we come up to the Luminary Rod. Once per battle, so it already has a...
Yeah.
You can pick a point on the battlefield within 9 inches of the bearer that is visible to them, and draw an imaginary straight line 1 millimeter wide between that point and the closest part of the bearer. Each unit other than the bearer that has models passed across by this line suffers D3 mortal wounds. So, super, super situational. And anytime it's once per battle, you'd have to have like a bunch of... I mean, I guess you could get to a point where, I run into this all the time with Plague Wind on the Nurgle guys, where you draw that straight line and see how many guys you can hit. And very rarely do I hit more than 1 or 2 units. Mm-hmm. I mean, there have been times where I've managed to cross across a character as well as 2 units, but it's too situational and once per battle.
Now, it just says once per battle, pick a point on the battlefield within 9 inches of the bearer. It doesn't say when.
Right.
You could literally do it at any point in time.
Oh my God, you're right.
So if you're like a Stormcast player, you could put this on
Lord.
Something that can drop down in the hero phase and then charge.
Yeah.
Get into combat in a key place and try to pile in so that your angle could really reach out across your opponent's army. And then pop it. Do D3 mortal wounds, 3, 4, maybe 5.
Yeah.
Units,
but still, it's only 9 inches, so you're not going to include. I mean, unless they've deployed in a really weird way, or I mean, it's. I still think you have to catch it. It's so situational that I don't know.
Yeah, I get it, but there's some armies out there like Sylvaneth who may really try to clump up in forests. Another Sylvaneth Woods. The new Beasts of Chaos may try to focus on putting a lot of stuff around a herdstone.
Mm-hmm.
Daughters of Cain usually have a hag that's always going to be behind each one of their units of witches. I mean,
and that's it. I do the same thing. I always look for getting at least 2 units when I cast it. But
if you come up against the KO clown car, I mean, like
everything's in that line.
Everything in that line.
Oh yeah.
So, I don't know.
But who would play that anymore?
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry.
All right. God.
Next.
The Sunblade. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons to be a Sunblade. Allocate wounds inflicted by that before everything else.
Yeah.
If 1 or more wounds are inflicted on an enemy hero or monster by that weapon, subtract 1 from hit rolls for that enemy hero or monster until the end of the hero phase.
It's a nice little debuff.
Yeah.
It depends. If you have a good beefy Ren 3 weapon where you pretty much know you're going to do a little bit of damage, but like you said before, you have a good Rend but low damage weapon, you throw this on there and it's an automatic debuff. So
yeah.
It's good, but it's not the best.
Yeah.
So next up is the Crystalline Blade. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons to be a Crystalline Blade. Add 1 to wound rolls for this weapon. I have not been drinking. Anytime you add 1 to wounds, yay, in my book.
Yeah, especially
So-
if it helps trigger something,
Yeah.
which, is
if you're
becoming a
looking
little
on
more
a
rare.
6 or,
Yeah.
a 5+ to do something or what have you, or a 6+, that's the one to take.
There you go. And the Prism Ammontok. In your shooting phase, you can pick an enemy unit within 8 inches of the bearer and roll 4 dice. For each 6+, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pass.
Yeah,
Hard pass from me.
Yep, very. 6+, 8-inch range.
If that was a 5+, maybe. Throw it
Yeah.
on an army that doesn't have some
Yeah.
ranged.
Or a character that is going to be in combat but
Yeah.
doesn't have. But still, on a 6-up, it's
Nah.
just not. Especially when you can just go and do your add 1 to wound rolls.
Yeah.
So,
Or, maybe there's something over here in the Relics of Heish
Yeah.
that are even better.
yeah.
Like, I don't know, this first one, the Ether Quartz Brooch. Each time you spend a command point, roll the dice. On a 5+, you receive 1 command point.
Yeah, nobody's going to use that. I mean, who
Yeah.
wants to get more command points
Right?
back?
Because I know in 40K, you don't ever see items like that used.
No, ever. Ever. No, that is a huge weapon. Anytime you can save a command point, okay, yeah, it's a 5-up, and, we were just saying what a thing 5-up was, but no, this is a command point. This is a resource.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is a valuable resource. So that is huge.
Yeah. This next one is the one that everybody was talking. The Lens of Refraction.
Yeah, let me go ahead and do that one because that's the one that was changed.
Yep.
So in the errata from July 2018, it is now written as once per battle round. The first time a friendly unit within 6 inches of the bearer suffers any mortal wounds inflicted by a spell or endless spell, roll a d3 and reduce the number of mortal wounds suffered by the roll.
Yeah, massive change.
Huge change.
So, not nearly what it used to be.
No.
Which is fine, because it was a 1+ item in every list.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want that kind of stuff.
No,
You
and
want
it
people
was
to make
just...
choices.
Mm-hmm. It was just not a good thing.
Yeah. Next up, the Mirrored Cuirass. Roll a dice each time you allocate a mortal wound to the bearer. On a 5+, the wound is negated. On a 6+, you can also pick an enemy unit within 6 inches of the bearer. That unit suffers 1 mortal wound. It's kind of along the lines of those stupid shields that Stormcast Eternals use that bounce mortal wounds.
Yeah.
Frustrating. I don't know if you'd really use it that much.
I kind of like that one. Again, it's just that whole, that that Star Drake thing.
Yeah.
And it really does come in handy. I mean, look at your game with Ryan there, up there at Clan Carnage, where he was just reflecting all those mortal wounds back at you with that.
And then you'd potentially reflect them back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might have made a difference.
So, if you had that and you went up against a Star Drake, could you potentially
just keep bouncing them back and forth? Well, he doesn't have protection against the mortal wounds.
Oh, yeah.
It saves against wounds that become mortal wounds back at you. So this would potentially bounce that mortal wound back at him.
Wow.
16% of the time. And seeing as how I had to add him down to 1 wound.
Yeah, exactly. That
with the number of saves I rolled, might have been the thing that could have swung it.
So anyway, that's pretty.
Because you totally see a war boss on a Maw Crusher wearing an item described as this polished armor is capable of deflecting etheric energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next up we have the Light Shard. Interesting little piece here. If the bearer is slain, before removing the model, roll a die for each enemy unit within 6 inches of them. On a 3+, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound.
That's Necron technology.
It's kind of, it's, flies. Yeah. It's Nurgle flies.
Yeah.
So, it's just kind of a, gotcha. You going to kill me? Yeah, watch
middle
this.
finger on the way out.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, Guardian's Coronet. Once per battle, at the start of your hero phase, the bearer can call upon the Guardian Spirits. If they do so, until your next hero phase, roll a dice each time you allocate a wound to the bearer. On a 4+, the wound is negated. I mean, it has its potential, yeah. It's situational, but it's kind of a YOLO item.
This is one of those once per battle items that I don't hate right off the bat.
Yeah.
Just because this is the kind of thing that you wait until the Ideneth Deepkin are on their turn where they just, they go first and they just go bananas on you. Or, the what's his name, Daughters of Cain are doing their bloody work. You know, It's one of those where if you use it on the right turn, it could potentially save your life. And it is a 4-up for the whole turn.
It's only against regular wounds, not mortal wounds.
Right.
So you got to be careful where you throw it in. But
when you're looking at like a whole bunch of sisters or witches, they're just doing regular ones. Yeah, you're not gonna walk up to anything Zinchian or something like that. But yeah, because it doesn't do anything for spells.
Right.
So it's just allocate a wound to the bearer.
Yeah.
So anything that does mortals, it's useless. But again, it's one of those situational things where if you know this is what you're up against and you're going to have that one turn where they always cut your dude down, might be worth popping.
Or you're sitting on an objective that gets overrun and you just need to hold it for one more turn to put
score
yourself
that 5 points.
Yeah, just out of reach so that your opponent can't come back.
Yep. Situational, but cool.
Yeah.
So,
and then the last item, the Sash of the 10 Paradises. Add 2 inches to the bearer's move characteristic.
That was weird.
Yeah, it's hard because, there's the fire one that adds 4 inches and gives you flying.
Right.
So this one's
just 2 inches?
But it doesn't give you flying,
no.
Which, is a double-edged sword. Sometimes, because there's a lot of stuff out there that'll light you up if you fly.
That's right.
I mean, I like it, right? Like anything that is movement-based is going to have serious effects on the game. So
it's one of those where if your casters can't keep up with your foot troops, or your combat heroes for some reason can't keep up,
and they need to be there to drop.
Yeah,
like a foot boss is only move 4.
Yeah.
So when he's using his ability to launch his units forward, and all of a sudden they're out of range of logs and stuff. So maybe having that 6-inch charge plus a D6 run.
It could be,
because I've thrown the flame cloak on him before. And and making him move 8 flying is
big.
Yeah.
Big.
So, well, there you have it.
Yeah.
We didn't go quite into depth on the background. There's more to it, and I would suggest sinking your teeth into Olgu and Haish. They interact so much with each other.
Right.
They're the 2 realms that interact the most with each other. They're in their own little orbit around each other.
Yeah. And you just know they're going to come up.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't pick these blind,
right.
with no reason, just plop 2 together. These 2 are going to get love soon.
I almost wish they would come out with both the elf armies side by side.
Oh, wouldn't that be?
But I think that would...
I doubt they would because you'd hurt sales, I think.
Yeah, because you'd see one and then 3 months later see the next. It's like, well, I'll collect both.
Yeah.
Because I cannot wait to see Tyrion's army. I'm also very excited. I don't think Malarian's army would be one I'd collect, but I definitely want to see what it looks like.
Where they go.
Yeah. Yeah, Tyrion.
Yeah. When you look at what they've done with the last few armies, you just go, what the, you look at Daughters of Cain, you look at Idoneth Deepkin, and you just see where they don't care. They just don't have limits.
Right.
There's no one telling these guys, no, you can't do that.
Yeah. What can you imagine that we can pump into a 3D
trees are brown
CAD thing and
do what you want.
Yeah.
What do you think they should be?
So definitely excited.
Yeah, this has got to be like a dream for people that have been there, like, the Phil Kellys, the Gav Thorpes, the guys that have been around GW forever.
Yeah.
And, couldn't do what they envisioned in days
because it just didn't
past.
fit into the old world.
Either it didn't fit in the old world or physically it could not be done. They could not produce that.
Yeah.
Whereas now they can, and these guys can just go, whatever, and do it.
Yeah, we wouldn't have gotten an Alariel or a Nagash 15 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. It just couldn't be done. The undercuts and even on just, regular injected molded plastic, there was a lot of things you couldn't do.
Right.
And now with these higher pressure injection molders and stuff, they can do just about anything. And, I marvel every time I build a new kit. They still make some dumb decisions about where the sprues get cut, like on the Stormcast pauldron. Really? We haven't gotten over that yet?
Yeah.
Really? But on so many of them, where the cuts are and where the stuff comes off the sprue, it's going to be covered up by something else. So you have to clip it down and all, but it's not like you had to, in days of yore where you had to clip it down and then cut off the nib and then sand it so that it's perfect and then mate the pieces and hope the hell there wasn't a gap. Nowadays it's like, I don't care because the cloak goes over that or something goes over
right.
that, or the seam is hidden anyway.
Well, and it's like I was saying, the Night Haunt stuff totally blows me away with like the support pieces through it. It's like this big, basically hidden piece of plastic that goes from the base all the way up through. So it's essentially pinned all the way through instead of being like something that's barely hanging on by the tiniest piece of plastic. So if you look at it funny, it's going to snap and then snap in a way that you'll never really be able to repair it.
Never.
Yeah. So just the technology on that stuff has come so far.
Well, the other day I was building spirit hosts, and then I turned right around and built the Murmur Banshees. That's in the evening. And just the complete difference in how they envisioned putting these things together. Yep. I mean, everybody knows what spirit hosts are like. They are just not...
They're frustrating.
Yeah, and you have to build... you can build all three of them at once, but you have to build them in stages and let them dry. Otherwise, you don't have enough hands to hold everything in place.
Yeah.
So you end up spending an extra hour really waiting for that thing to set up and do the next assembly. That's why I was doing, the Banshees at the same time, because it takes that drying time away from the... I use plastic glue. I don't use super glue because, I want it to stay together. So, but it's where they've gone is just amazing. When next we meet, we will discuss more about AOS. Yeah.
And we'll dive into another realm.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have Ryan to spice it up a little bit. But like I said, he was traveling all day today, and he didn't get in until we were starting to record, and there was no way he was driving down. Yeah. Or even Skyping in because he was wasted. So we missed you, Ryan, but hey, we got through it. Anything else before we go?
No, I got nothing.
If you would like to get a hold of us, you can reach us at our email address, which is rollingbadpodcast@gmail.com. We have a Twitter account for the podcast, and it is @rolling_bad. We also have a Facebook page, so just search Facebook for Rolling Bad. We have a Patreon page, and that is at www.patreon.com/rollingbadpodcast, all one word. You can reach us at our individual Twitter accounts. Elric is at Elric Edge, and I am at Bill Costello, Castello. All of our guest hosts and any other products or places that we mentioned during the show will have their addresses listed in the show notes.
Okay, I've completely lost it.
Fair enough.
Oh, there it is. I hate those moments, those senior moments.
Stormcast are cool. So that's,
I didn't know how to make a good Beast of Chaos noise, so I defaulted to a horse. What the hell was that?
But
I'm sorry.
We're not gonna kink shame here. Stormcast are cool. I didn't say, well, son of a bitch. I quit. I quit this whole hobby. Well, I quit the whole hobby, but for different reasons. But
that's different.
Yeah. But I didn't quit painting because I did a garbage job. Son of a bitch. This is not
not going down the road you want.
I
love it. Oh, God, that's funny.
Stormcast are cool.
All right, Mr. Kavanaugh. Can we move on?
I like beer. Yeah.
And women.
I still drink beer. Jesus. Anyways.
Oh, wow. Did we hit a brick wall?
Yeah.